welcome back. We get to chit chat a little bit about self empowered women and how we handle the betrayal, or men who lie. And basically, we have a conversation. So, number one, we are not the types of people who put on this scale. Okay. And I want to begin with I'm bicultural, and part of my culture, Naples, Italy. In fact, they have very unique culture. So Pulcinella, he's like some tragic, you know how some people think you have to suffer in love? We'll just put it that way, okay? So an empowered woman will tell you, nope, not true. No need for any of that. Tragedy, nope. Thank you, not Peter Levine, Stephen Porges. I'm attachment trauma informed. I'm also 5D mystic in the Enlightenment Soul Age group, and that's why my twin flame and flames and soulmates, no tragedy. But that's because my 1 year old is attached securely. Thank you, mother. Thank you, twin. Thank you to my entire herd. So I have learned that it's never the end in any way, shape, or form when life doesn't go the way a 3 year old wants, that you accept things that are and that I am enough. That's why I have a 1 year old that does not need to attach to anyone, and I don't need reparenting. Okay, so when you come on over to HP, we talk about personal development, you wanting to do emotional lifting, so you're emotionally aware, accountable, self regulating, and that means your inner growth mindset, the little chit chatter, and the emotions. You have a window welcome, being yourself. You can be here. Either you have reparented, you begin to reparent, that all depends on you. But long story short, some of us have a window welcome for emotions. And so I'm also attachment and trauma informed, woo woo pseudoscience for people who don't believe in mystics and who find pseudoscience the accurate term. As I bring human, spiritual, and spirituality elements, these are subject matters, but also I'm not in the research labs. And this is social media. So socializing. Okay, if you want academia, you go to the peer reviewed. I'm a master's degree, and even without it, but I'm gonna thank it. I know how research is conducted. So whenever I'm hearing any podcast or any person online, as long as they're not with a board, and then I don't see those statistics, I already know that I'm just, it's kind of like pink news, which really everything became pink news. I learned that from my journalism class in my bachelor's on political science, and I said, what? Why didn't they fix that? And my teacher went on to explain, and now I don't remember what he explained. I just know that, yeah, what bleeds, leads, and I don't watch it because really. So when you're empowered, one thing's for sure, you're not a Peter Pan, which is why you don't have the incapacity to know how to use your brain. So you know that yoga does not bring demons out of you. Reiki, there is nothing wrong with it. It's energy therapy, unless you want to be closed minded, and that's for the 3D, 4D collective. And those are all people that are on a different journey. Okay, so that being said, integration of the brain is when you're flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable, and when you have compersion, which is what the polyamory community has. And it's not because we overestimate the brain usage, no, because otherwise I would be saying you're stupid, which I don't believe you are. I know that people who love, thank you, Stephen Porges, again, have the oxytocin gene hormone on because the only way for your body to produce it is if you're securely attached here, which I am. So that's why I don't need to attach to you. And if you betray me and lie to me, basically I can cry about it, which that is for sure one of those emotions. Sadness is a part of our emotional spectrum. We have six basic as human beings. We all have them. The difference is some of us have a window welcome because if I'm breathing, it means I'm alive and I've been gifted this gift. Thank you, God. Now I call God Akash and consciousness because, again, 3D wants to own that word, or basically I try to respect that there's other people who use that word. God is the essence of love and life to a person that is of, faith, because it's always about more love, not less. And it's not about the ancient stories staying fixed and rigid in time. So rigidity is actually an indication of a non-bilaterally integrated brain. Means that the left mode is working and the right, there's no inner child that's coming out to play. And in fact, we're going to leave that one alone because dysregulated nervous systems are pretty clear for me because I will not want to be around them. Small energy, very obnoxious and very annoying. In fact, they're all the ones who say, I don't have an ego, like I learned from when I was a teenager. Okay, and I am looking for something specific. Maybe it'll dawn on me for some reason. Here it is. So anger is to correct. Thank you, Daniel Siegel, for these notes. Sadness is about connection, and fear is about certainty. Then we have happiness, and we have disgust, and we have surprise. Okay, so when you're familiar with these, it's because you got to express all of them, which I did because my household dynamic gave me the opportunity to be a securely attached, empowered woman. Okay, and so with ease, grace, and great joy, I share with you how easy life is and how betrayal doesn't scar you. Although people from the outside, they might think otherwise. Because when you move into polyamory, people say, oh, it must be the trauma from your twin flames. And it's like, no, not really. You don't understand. I love more people in a non conventional friendship way. So I'm just being honest. This is all. Okay. Oh, yeah, because I don't want to be one of those who lies or betrays because I don't have this fear thing of, are you going to like me? My name's Maria. It's very straightforward. You're going to get to know me. Either you like me or you don't. So in my book, betrayal doesn't mean anything except for you don't have the guts to tell me in my face something. The part about having expectations, no, I was taught that who does for themselves can do for three. And I've found that actually true. Here's one of the stories. I was a kid in fourth grade, third or fourth grade, something like that. And I went to the professor. This is called an explicit memory, by the way. And I went to the professor because I needed help with something, with kids that were actually teasing me for my back brace. Now, my professor did something. He decided that I would give a presentation, which is not what I wanted to do. And that's the day I learned of the saying that was true, that I had been told, if you want something done the way you want it to be done, then you're going to have to do it for yourself. And so I said, the professor didn't do it the way I wanted them to do it. I did get told that if I wanted something done my way, I'd have to do it my way. Okay, that makes sense. And that's why La Dolce Vita gets easier and easier for somebody who's a perfectionist who won't look like it. I make a lot of grammar mistakes, and I definitely will fuck up the data sometimes. So when we have a betrayal, we will say something like this. So my lovely teenage boyfriend, as we went through 4 years of relationship, and there was cheating incidences because we didn't have the word polyamory at the time. Otherwise, I think by the third time, I'm like, you know what? I think we're good for open relationship, which I eventually led myself to do on my own without knowing about there being a group of polyamory. Because I think by that year, there was, or it was about to begin. So I'm ahead of the time. See, sciences and spirituality right here all together. And that's what's nice about being a human spirit because, enlightenment, the soul age group, it's amazing because it's integration of the brain and restorative embodiment. Okay? So, as I shared with him, I was like, I'm not going to check your phone. I'm not going to hound you like a dog. I'm not going to keep reminding you of this thing that happened because that's like holding some kind of chain over you, and that just seems not nice from all these other girls that were doing this to their boyfriends who cheated on them. So what did I learn? I did learn about the men gender stereotypes. And then I saw that they didn't really know how to just tell you things, So it's like, okay, so lying is a constant. It's not some evil. Don't give me the story of evil because that's Michael Stone's scale and they all need a good therapist. Oh, that's right. I'm attachment and trauma informed. That is right. So that 3-year-old doesn't know that they're not in trouble. They have a home that they came from, and apparently they got so fear-mongered that they just don't know how to tell me the truth. Okay, that makes sense. A lot more sense than the gender stereotypes. Yep. Okay, so when you meet empowered men, you learn they know how to tell you the truth, by the way, ladies. And no, they don't actually have this thing of needing to be needed in this way that almost looks like you got a puppy that you need to train. So yeah, empowered women know that men are not for us to train and vice versa. And when we meet those men and women who are not empowered, we'll know who they are because they actively look like Cusco's, Peter Pan's, Wendy's, Lost Boys, Lost Girls, and I see them with the gender stereotypes. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that. And what I'm going to continue on is with my stories. So from my teacher, I learned that if I wanted something done, I'd have to do it for myself. From my teenage friends and boyfriend, I learned that people don't know how to tell you the truth. And as I got older, I learned that people still didn't know how to just tell you who they are. So I just learned to say, well, you know what? Since all knots come to the comb, this is another Italian saying, time will tell me the truth, so I don't really need to put in any effort. I know that I'm maintaining my heart body and belly body by being Maria. You get to say if you like me or not, and if you don't know how to tell me that you don't like me, I'm pretty sure you're going to move away from me at some point. So I don't have to bother trying to figure it out. And if I am friends with you, I'm not going to try to assume or not assume. So men, women, days, all of that. Okay, and this is why when I was presented once again with the equation of betrayal and the part about forgiving, yeah, so forgiveness, I like how Daniel Siegel poses it. It's about the past never returning. And I learned about forgiveness from Jesus. I also learned about this thing called humble from God. So I learned that if you forgive, you're not going to say, oh, I passed a test because, I forgave. So whenever I see women, men, or theys doing something like that, I'm like, okay. Seems to me that your scale is actually what is not nice at all because it's almost like you have this wielding power over another person. So I'm going to say that I understand it, but I don't allow that to be how I definitely will be like, no. So in my case, whenever someone has made it clear, let's say they don't like something that I've done and they want to try and, that doesn't happen actually to an empowered woman. I've had one person throughout my lifetime say something like this: I don't want you to be friends with this person. Yeah, that's not going to happen. And then I've had people tell me through third parties that they won't talk to me because they wanted me to do something. And then because I didn't do it, they decided I'm a bad friend. And I was like, yep, okay. Sounds like they made up their mind. So if you're empowered, you're not going to expect anybody to owe you anything. And you're definitely not going to owe anyone else anything. And on that note, I love Patrick Tiahan. He's a childhood trauma survivor, healed and healing. He's a good therapist. He's online. And he helps people who want to reparent their inner child. See, my inner child doesn't need a reparenting. I'm right here. I'm a grown-up. And I don't feel guilty because somebody else has a chip on their shoulder or they want something done in the way they want it done. And that's why I can be accepting of when somebody looks at me from the outside and they want to think about, that's an evil bitch. Well, fine with me. I know I'm not evil, but I know I won't be able to prove it. I also know that you're projecting some shit at me, which I'm not going to come after you for, because the minute that you're making any assumption without even ever knowing me, but just witnessing some type of words that are coming out of my mouth, you're a shallow person in my book. But at the same time, again, life is short. It's of the essence, right? So here's why a grown human being, even as a teenager, emotionally speaking, when you have healthy self-worth, I should use my words better. That's what I mean by grown human being. Healthy self-worth means my boundaries, it ain't me canceling you. Oh, I'll tell you to your face what I think, and then I'll wait for you to tell me my face. I found out that people don't know how to. This is what I was trying to get to. And my one word that I learned right now, universe telling me to get back into, don't worry, I got it. I love the universe. Oh, okay, so here we go. Patrick Tiahan. As he supports people to heal their inner child and to reparent, okay? I love you to your own inner child, and we're not going to apologize for something we didn't do. So whenever I meet Cuscos or squirrels, or for that matter, any of 4D, 3D, and any person who wants to come to me and tell me that I need to live life and friendship the way they would want, I already know I don't have to apologize because I'm being myself. You get to be you, I get to be me. You don't come tell me how I need to use my time. You come tell me how we interact. And if you're having a good time and I'm having a good time, great and dandy. And here's why we pick and choose the people we are around. So that's the other part. We don't have to be around each other. If someone doesn't like me, what I've had the habit of saying is, you don't have to be around me and I don't have to be around you. We need air to breathe, water to drink, and food to eat. That's it. That's what you need. Relationships are a bonus in life. So the herd, Sid, Manny, Diego, we choose each other out of pleasure, out of seeking because of enjoyment, not out of desperation and manipulation, which is a love dependent in the shame. Thank you, Terry Real, for that relationship grid. Or you getting angry and controlling because you're in your grandiosity and still the love dependent group. Or love avoidant, that's why love avoidant. It's a great gift ever for them to just shut us out because we're not going to baby you. You're not my baby, emotionally speaking, friendships, relationships are about partnership. So this betrayal thing, when I saw my teenage girlfriends hanging over the head of a man and those men doing everything in their power, and I see some of these men online, by the way. Yeah, okay, that's not reparenting. They need Terry Real. They need a good therapist to help them balance that scale out, because it's almost like you're hanging something over another person's head, and that's just really an energy that is not respectful. And so yeah, you see my face is, how dare they think that that is actually something that you do. It's not empowered, it's not human like, and it comes from low self-esteem, and it comes from a nervous system, and it comes from a household that you probably witnessed the same behavior, and you're bringing it into your relationship, which is why Terry Real is ideal, because he helps couples to get that unfinished business on track so that they can support each other like functional adults and have healthy self-worth boundaries, not where there's porousness in the boundarylessness one, or the other aspect of avoidant. Okay, so there's not a scale, again, for men who lie or betrayal. For at least empowered women, it's a conversation. So it'll be, I didn't like that. What are we going to do? And in fact, here's what I can share as we close on out, is that now that I'm attachment trauma informed, I know a lot about what I got to deal with as a teenager, a young adult, and as an adult too. And what I have learned is how to disengage sooner than later from any of that which is an inconsistent behavior. And what I mean by that is that the minute you begin to show me signs of whether it be love dependent or love avoidant, we'll just use those two, that's where I'm going to know I got a kid in the room who needs a good therapist or personal development. So as long as you don't take ownership of that, you're not going to. And I, like Pacha, won't be lecturing you. I'll just notice your pattern immediately. On the contrary, you won't notice it unless you're ready and willing to get out of your maladaptive child behavior. So yeah, betrayal, it's a word that the people who are empowered will use very neutrally, very passionately. It's not something good or bad. In fact, actually, empowered anyone's will tell you really humans are not inherently good or evil. We have what is determined. Thank you to Robert Sapolsky, his book. I still need to finish reading it. And that is because it is a good one, even though it's qualitative. It still matches up really well with when you learn enough about attachment trauma. And I'm serious about supporting to heal trauma for those who want to get their adult in the forefront, because their inner child lives within them. So anybody who saves themselves and finds the opportunity to get heaven in their body, it's because they will learn about how trauma and trauma memory and charges, and it's not just some small thing, again, that it is within you, and it can get minimized, but it doesn't get deleted. And that the way that you're going to minimize it, though, is if you have a relationship and more. So you need to have relationships in order to heal, because trauma is relational and intimacy is the core. So the first step is intimacy with you. Once you have that down path, you come on over and do personal development with us, because your window of tolerance is where you will have learned that. Or, I mean, here's where personal development supports a lot of different types of people. I know that after asking a number of therapists from my courses, what do I do if I notice, or how do I know if somebody needs a good therapist? They've all told me the same thing. You'll know because your nervous system and their nervous system. And so here's where a person who takes seriously mental health and yoga, by the way, so spirituality, living a life of meaning beyond the solo self and connection, it's pacha and integration of the brain, because it's basically a somatic empath. For me, Jesus is all I needed, thank you, Jesus, to say, hey, I forgive you, but not in a way of you owe me something and I owe you something. No, that is not forgiveness. That is actively almost like what, blackmail? I mean, or not blackmail, but that thing of I'm holding something now. I have, something against you or something like that. That's not a relationship. Might as well sever that. A relationship is when there's a flow. And that's also why we don't have sagas with our twin flame or flames, the divine feminines. We don't have obsessive thinking. That's limerence. And it's people who apparently don't know how to get out of rumination and to work with their inner child. So again, empowered women, we love because we love. Love is easy. Love is kind. Love is all inclusive. Love doesn't hold anything up on here. We don't go and say, I passed the test because I forgave. We don't, yeah, that's like a little star. Here, let me give you the golden star. For kids, there's different ways we get them to become. But one of the best ways, for one, is to allow them to have fun and enjoy life and not scare them, which is what I have noticed a lot of people don't really care about that part. But then again, we have a growing number of people who do care. So I will leave this alone because it's going to open us up into a whole different conversation. If you want to ask any specific questions for Maria, for you, the paid subscription based model content on the audio for now, once we get to 1K on YouTube, for random FAQs or just random topics you would like me to share, let me know about that one too. And that's through email. So have a great day. Thank you for tuning in.